Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this busy day here in the wide world of sports. Huge story out of the NBA. I will be starting off talking about that Damian Lillard trade here in just a moment here. Got John Restano, as promised, will be in 30 minutes past the hour. Going to ask him about this blockbuster trade. Also going to get into what's his thoughts on the Bears, and we got to get into some college football today as well. Stand by. I'll be back here in 49 seconds. Got a lot to talk about today. We'll hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then. This is such a big story, and to get you hyped up for the NBA season, got a little intro for this one. See if you can pick that out for us. I can hear Ernie Johnson's voice now. Inside the NBA. Okay, so as I said in the tease there, let's see. Let me get to my notes here. Got to go to my list and check it twice here. Okay, so as you all may have heard, Blazers trade Damian Lillard to the Bucks here. Okay, so they're trading Lillard to the Bucks to play with Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks, a 3-team trade. I'm getting this from ESPN and The Athletic here. Includes the Sun sources. Portland will get Drew Holiday. By the way, he will be retraded. There's already been reports of that. But they're going to get Drew Holiday in this 3-team trade. DeAndre Ayton will go from Phoenix to Portland. And some guy named Toyoma Camera. That's probably, that is a essentially a bench player. Milwaukee's 2029 unprotected first-round pick and unprotected Milwaukee swap rights in 28 and 30. And, of course, the Suns will get Nurkic. That's the big man from the Portland Trailblazers. Grayson Allen, Nestor Little, Kevon Johnson. Basically, those are just bench players. Kind of helps the depth chart of the Phoenix Suns there. And you know something, listen, folks, you all that have been following the story, kind of like myself here, been following it since June when he originally requested the trade. He wanted to go to Miami, Damian Lillard, and he put out a video, Instagram live video. This is Damian Lillard playing Only in Miami, the Will Smith song, okay? Essentially taunting the team. He wasn't saying anything, but you say it privately, and then you do the come into Miami, you think, it's non-potato. It's not. But Portland wanted to make sure that not get that trade done to Miami. And, of course, we saw that trade did not get done. They traded Lillard to Portland to go play to Milwaukee to play with Giannis. All that being said, I've been reading this story for the past couple of days. that trade talks are heating up. A lot of teams are being talked about, including the Nets in this. It's in the middle of football season. We're a few weeks away from training camp, preseason, and the NBA starts in October. Kind of backburner this story, but I know that it's been heating up. And of course, Brian Windhorst, the guy with ESPN here, they got discovered. I think his mom taught LeBron his mom worked at a school, LeBron or whatever. Means no, never mind. It's basically covered LeBron, kind of how he got in. But he's reporting that Giannis said that he will not play back with Milwaukee. He will not re-sign with Milwaukee. He's in a contract year, essentially. Same thing come up a few years ago. It was reported that because he didn't think Milwaukee was making any kind of moves to become competitive. And then we know what happened a few years ago, back in 21. They made a last minute, a week before the season started, and got Drew Holiday. And of course, we know what happened that year. They went on to win the NBA championship. Okay. So Giannis, he signed his extension. He's towards the end of that. He's won an NBA title. If he decided not to sign with Milwaukee, who would be mad at him? I know the locals wouldn't be mad at the guy for that. They never done anything in my lifetime prior to Giannis coming to that team. So now they've got Damian Lillard on for 3 years. And people ask me, there's a few different angles here. Okay. First of all, don't taunt the team. Teams are tired of players pushing their way out. Now, you clearly can't blame Damian Lillard. The guy, he's a 4-year player out of college. He does everything he can to win with this team. He signs the extension, stays with him, becomes a team player. They did everything they could. They couldn't get a winner around him. And so I'm not mad at him. But when you say that and do that and put a specific team, of course, Jimmy Butler, he's ticked off saying that Milwaukee should be investigated for tampering and all that stuff. I've said this years ago, folks. I've said this very same thing several years ago. And not several years, about 2 years ago, that players in second, not the rookie contract, hear me out, but in second contracts, they are contractors, whether the NBA wants to like it or not. They are independent contractors, all right? And they should, like I said, a lot of these guys got shoe contracts and all that. They should be able to buy out their own contract. Teams can trade players. They can move players without their authorization, not unless there's a no trade clause in the contract. But you sign a contract, you are a contractor. Teams can buy the contract out. Now, that number would be really high the first year, and then that number would gradually go down towards the end of the contract, and then obviously you would be a free agent. It's something I've always thought about. I mentioned it on my show and the Mac and Jack and Jeff Colt show. Okay. So, and of course, the Portland side of it, Damian, he did not want to be part of the rebuild. Going back to the draft, they drafted this guy. They never did make that trade of the 3 pick. Let's go back to June after the finals when the draft comes about. So they drafted, going back to Portland, they drafted this Scott Henderson guy. So he's going to be playing with DeAndre Ayton and whatever young pieces they put behind them. Again, Drew Holiday's not going to be with Portland. He's going to move somewhere. Maybe he gets moved to Miami. But anyways, here is Jimmy Butler's. He should be. Here we go, Jimmy Butler.
Y'all need to look into the Bucks. Yo, NBA, man. Y'all need to look into the Bucks for tampering. Y'all do. I'm just gonna put that out there. Y'all didn't hear it from me, but I heard it through somebody. Y'all look at it for tampering.
Yeah, and they kind of sit on it here. So He seemed like he was about half joking, but he also seemed like he was half ticked off. All right. So you got the Butler soundbite there. I thought Lillard was 34 years old. He's only 33. He just turned 33 this past July. I'll say this. They've got a new coach here. They fired their old coach. Remember, they were 1 seed. They get put out, embarrassed by that 8 seed. Now, Giannis had a back injury. He played through it, but he was not the same after that really hard fall in game 1. So they fired their head coach. They got this Adrian Griffin here. He is a head coach, first-year head coach. Been in coaching since 2008. He was under Nick Nurse at Toronto. So I'm kind of giving you all the background here of this outline of this particular team. Okay. And when you bring in a guy of Damian Lillard status to this team with the Giannis, okay, and let me go ahead and read off this lineup here. This is the starters here. They're probably going to need to pick up some bench players in depth. They'll do that by the trade deadline, I'm sure. So you got Lillard, Chris Middleton. By the way, Chris Middleton will get wide open shots with these two playing each other. All right. You got Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, who's a junkyard dog on defense, and of course Giannis himself. Brook Lopez, a little bit long in the tooth. I'm a little concerned about his age. He's going to be 35 this year, although he did play 78 games last year. So they probably need a little bit of insurance there. I know they've got the brother Robin. Look for possibly going after another big, may not be a big name, but just another big body there to possibly take up with Brook Lopez. Okay. Now, there's your lineup. You've got a new coach here. You've got this lineup, but don't get anything twisted. Let's do a comparable here. Just like I said a few years ago, and in the NFL, when the Rams made that bold move and traded Jared Goff for Matt Stafford, and when back in 2003, Major League Baseball example, when the Red Sox fired Grady Little and hired Terry Francona in 2004, remember this team was a 1 seed. They were kicking butt before Miami just saved all their energy for the playoffs and put them out and put a lot of people out. The goal is to win the finals. If the Bucks do not win the finals, preferably this year, because Damian Lillard is getting older, this is considered a failure. Again, the goal is to win the finals, not get to the finals, not get to the playoffs, not make Giannis happy during the regular season. The goal is to win the finals this year, even with the new coach. Look at the Boston Celtics in 2008. Corey, if you're watching, that was a put together team. You had a lot of moving parts there. With Kevin Garnett there, bringing in Ray Allen. And we know that they accomplishment. These are junkyard dogs, okay? These players, a guy like Damian Lillard is very he will do anything you ask him to do at this point in his career. I do think that. It's all about health. I get it. But if they play the two-man game, kind of like what Jamal Murray and the Joker did in Denver, between Giannis and of course Lillard, play that two-man game, this is going to be a very good team. They were very good. I want to say they're the best defensive team in the league during the regular season last year. They're going to get open shots. You're going to create. I know that Giannis isn't the passer that the Joker is, but you all get the idea. They do have the ability to beat anybody out there, okay? According to the odds, this is updated according to these odds that were updated just a few hours ago. When this story broke, FanDuel, the Milwaukee Bucks are now considered to be favorites to win the championship. I'm not sure if I buy that all the way, but I do know that they do have the ability. And Lillard is just old enough. He's slightly past his prime, but he's not considered old, in my opinion, at 33 years old, just turning 33 in July. Now, the Boston is pushed down to second. The Celtics have Kristaps Porzingis, Corey, and they've got a bulldog of an assistant coach there to back up the young head coach, okay, and Sam Cassell. Do you all remember Sam Cassell in training camp working with James Harden and Tyrese Maxey? Listen to this. So this is what makes me think out of the East of Boston. Listen up. Well, basically, now let's see if it comes back on. Now it's saying you're offline. Yeah, go figure. Yeah. Bleep me running, Let's see. Let me try it again. Sometimes it just goes out and comes back in. We'll reset it and see. But you all got the point here. It could be Boston, but Milwaukee's a legit contender now. Miami's got left out in the cold, I think, because these players, you got to have the emotional discipline. Don't let it be out public like that. Do not embarrass the organization and start playing stuff from Will Smith. Lillard put out a statement, says he want to thank the fans and everything from Portland. And Portland's a great place. Ask Shaq. Basketball-wise, they got a great arena there. So then you all, you say, well, what's the flip side? What is Nurkic going to Phoenix? What do you think about that? Phoenix, Bradley Beal now, that Ayton. I liked Ayton, but I think the coaching staff did not like Ayton. They didn't like his fit in this particular team. I think he's a good rim protector. This Nurkic guy, 28 years old, he hasn't played 70 games, 60 games in the last 5 years. He's a little bit of he's a pretty good passer, but he's a little bit of a drop off on talent. We talked about just a minute ago, guys like Grayson out. Those are, so they got some bench players out there in Phoenix. Not in love with Nurkic, okay? But if you look at their lineup, on paper, it looks unbeatable. It looks unbeatable with Beal and that bunch here. But you got Kevin Durant at 35 years old, who has got an injury history. It's kind of hard to say, It's really kind of hard to say what Phoenix is going to look like. I actually still like this under 30 driven Denver team although I've been watching Joker on the internet, this guy's been celebrating all summer long, all summer long on their championships. Yeah, I see you back there, John. I'm just trying to finish up this rant. But, I'll say this. They are Milwaukee is a team that looked like that they were getting a little long in tooth, that they were getting a little complacent, that Boston was coming up on them, that Miami was coming up on them, that New York of all teams were coming up on them, Milwaukee and Boston, of course. And then they make a move like this, and it's a splash play, man. It's a splash play. This is a well of a player. He will come up and show up to play. He will give you games during the regular season. And again, it's really, if you think about it, folks, Giannis got hurt, okay? There's been injuries everywhere in the postseason. Just about every year, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. If you're looking at both conferences around the playoffs, it gets help. So I don't know. I got to see how well these guys play off each other. But I'm not ready to crown them the favorites. But also I know that it's going to be when they play Boston. That could be a preview of the Western Conference. But you throw in Porzingis in there, and you throw in a Sam Cassell. See if I can get that bite playing from Cassell here. This is really good. This is Cassell, who's now with Boston, folks, coaching up James Harden and Tyrese Maxey last year in a pre-camp. I wish they would have just hired Cassell.
You're 7 right now. You got to get the 0.
Sam Cassell talking to James Harden and Tyrese Maxey.
Make it goes down to 6.
Going over a shooting drill.
Because you missed, motherfucker. You missed that. All your shots.
That's Harden. Harden must be hung over here. Coming back from one of them strip clubs. Harden says, he asked him, he said, why you start over when you do the rebound? And Sam, because you missed, mother effer. Let's listen to that one more time. And I'll bring John in.
You're 7 right now. You got to get the 0. That's how it goes. Right here, elbow jump shot. No dribble? Huh?
It's a shooting drill.
Make it goes down to 6.
I used to love these drills, Pickles.
Because you missed, motherfucker.
Because you missed, mother effer. Okay, on that note, I'll bring in John Restano. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's happening?
Man, good to see you again. I'm sorry I had to play that. Now that could be the secret weapon for the Celtics. They've got Sam Cassell, Kristaps Porzingis, Boston and Milwaukee. What a fight! What a matchup, man! With Damian Lillard, Kristaps Porzingis, all that star power, Giannis and everybody. I didn't expect to ask you about this. This Damian Lillard thing totally caught me off guard. I totally forgot about it back in July. What's your thoughts, man?
The first thing you went through, one of them is Miami, and the feeling in Miami's got to be very upsetting to the fans. Yeah. Jimmy Butler's mad. I mean,
they need to be checked out for tampering. Yeah. He's ticked, man.
Miami's got to be pissed, but I mean, Ayton is I don't know what the deal is with Ayton. I don't know if there's got to be someone who can light a fire under him, because even in Phoenix, I just felt like he always was he didn't, and I had a feeling maybe Vogel was the guy who could do it, but I guess he couldn't. So Ayton, it's too bad, because I really think there's a ton of talent there. He just sometimes looks to me like he's not engaged or something in the play.
You stay up late at night and watch these Phoenix games, what you told me the other day.
Yeah, I watch them. My son's a big fan, so I'll watch, and I just look at Ayton and I feel like, my God, there's so much there. Like, I was hoping the Knicks would get involved. Let me try to have Ayton and see what he could do there. But, geez, what a trade this is. Damian Lillard, I heard you said that they're now the favorite. But
according to FanDuel, I don't know if I believe that, but I think it will work if they play them right. They do Jamal Murray Joker type of basketball.
Yeah,
I could see that.
And as far as Portland goes, I was kind of surprised wasn't Kamara that's who the Phoenix just drafted him, I believe.
Yeah,
wasn't
young guy. They were super young. Scott Henderson. Ayton's only been in the league 4 or 5 years. Remember, it was just a few years ago Arizona won that national championship.
Right, and they got Billups, I believe, head coach over there. I think it's Chauncey Billups.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Got a lot of young cats.
Love I still like the Suns. I still think Booker in this whole thing is probably the best player behind Giannis when you talk about everything in there. I think he's better than Lillard now.
He's younger. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that team should win. You just said it before I come on. On paper, my God.
Well, Durant's 35. He's got that's the only concern.
Yeah. His legs are so thin. He looks very, very.
And Nurkic, that guy, he's a good player, really solid player. He only plays about 40 or 55 games a year,
Yeah, Grayson Allen, the one thing I'll say is he's a rat, and I think they could use a little bit of rat like Beverly. I feel like they
A
weren't
poor
mean
man's
enough.
Tyler Hero.
Yeah, they need someone mean, and he could shoot threes. That's another thing Phoenix couldn't do, was make shots if it wasn't for Booker, and of course Durant wasn't either. But man, this snuck up on when you sent that. I didn't know what was happening. I'm at work.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking. And when I
Oh,
saw
you was at work? Okay, yeah.
and when I seen the tweet, I was like, "What the hell is this?" I had no
Yeah.
idea this was coming because I hadn't seen anything.
It broke about 2 o'clock Eastern, about 1:15 Central, and I'm like, "What? Oh my God! I gotta send this to John because he's a huge NBA guy."
Yeah, it was stunning to me. I was stunned because I'm just not listening to NBA. I'm watching NFL. I'm watching college. You know how that is. We're all over the place with all this other stuff, and they just busted out with this. And I think it's good. What do you think? Who win? I mean, Milwaukee wins. I guess the deal
Yes.
in this. You know.
Yeah. Well, I also read The Athletic made a good point that Giannis was getting towards the end of his last contract, and just before the season started, he said, "I'm not coming back here. Y'all are not really trying to help win and everything." They traded for Drew Holiday in 21.
Right.
We know what happened. They won the whole thing. Brian Windhorst says he's not going to re-sign back with Milwaukee when his contract is up, and that was last night.
Right.
Boom! They hit the clutch shot there. Kudos to Milwaukee management, right?
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. And I feel bad for Jimmy Butler. I really like him.
Yeah.
And he is sitting there. I'd be furious. I think I'd want out or I'd want something because what a clutch player he is. And he's not going to have a chance to do anything over there. So you're right. I mean, too much talk, too much everything in Miami. I can't believe that Lillard didn't go to Miami. I'm still shocked. It's stunned. I thought for sure that's what was going to happen.
He said, "I want to go to Miami." He offended Portland. He's playing the Will Smith song on his IG live in June the 23rd. And like I was saying, these guys need to be more emotionally disciplined and not rubbing in the team's face that you want out of there because they're human too, right? But also made a proposal. What do you think about this? Second contract, not the first one, that players should get the opportunity to buy their own contract out.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, it would be really high the first year, and then it would gradually go down. Buy your own contract out. I mean, you're a contractor, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, good thing. I never thought of that. Like it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I like
Phillips
that.
is over there in Portland, so that's. I mean, you know, Portland's going to be Portland, and there are going to be a bunch of young cats there. Scott Henderson will be fun to watch, but they're not going to make any serious run for another 3 or 4 years.
No, I wouldn't surprise. They could squeak in. You think they could win? What? They could win 40-some games, I assume.
That's true.
You know, I could see it.
Golden State could fall apart. They're getting a little old, you know?
Yeah. I want to see Ayton do good. It used to frustrate me watching them because, man, there was nothing that anyone could do to get under his skin. Now, I think that's good sometimes. Believe me, it's probably really good. But then there's points where it's like, my God, everything's happening here, and you're saying nothing. Now, that had to go with – but I didn't like their head coach either last year. I'm glad they got someone different now. I mean, I like Monty, and I think in Detroit's probably really good. But he showed no emotion ever.
Did they get Vogel?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Oh, yeah.
And I thought
I thought he was going to be able to work with Ayton, man. I don't know if that was really wise, moving Ayton.
I'm curious why. Like, you know, because I
got
thought
to be something with his teammates or something, you know?
Well, I've seen some video with him and his teammates that have been interesting in sideline, you know, in timeouts.
Okay.
Where they are saying, basically telling him to wake up. You know, it's kind of like saying, wake up. But that's just him. But I also think the head coach they played like their head coach. And to me, no matter what was going on that court, they showed
he was a little passive in the playoffs, not calling timeouts.
No emotion, man. And I can see Booker. I think Booker's got that fire, you know, in him. And because he plays defense really well. And then I think this is going to be a good fit for them. I think Vogel's going to make a little bit of a difference. Of course, we need Durant to stay healthy. That's
with his foot issues.
Like
that's $64,000 question. Same thing with a guy like Porzingis.
Yeah.
But Boston lacked that inside game. you know. And now, only thing I'm worried about is Brook Lopez. He's also 35, and they have some depth issues. They'll get some young guys though to cover their bench.
They're going to be good. Sam Cassell,
They're
what
gonna
a
be
smart,
Bulldogs, man.
that was smart.
Defensively.
Yeah, that was what a smart thing to bring him in there to help the young guy out, the head coach, and that tape is great. What he's saying there, I mean, that's what you want on on your on the audio. I mean, you want that. And he's talking to a superstar too, so that's good stuff, man. I that's what I'm hoping would happen for Phoenix with Vogel. That there's not going to be that same. I felt like it was a country club kind of atmosphere over there in Phoenix. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Man,
I tell you, crazy stuff. Okay, switching gears here, brother.
All
What
right.
is your thoughts on the Bears? Can they fix this thing?
Look, man, they are ridiculous. The week before the Chiefs, I know you're going to know this, but it just drives me wild. You get the FBI coming, coordinator quits.
What was the story? But I thought that was debunked, or was that had something to do with the lawn mowing equipment stolen for $100,000?
That all happened also, yeah. But the FBI went to Williams' house, I guess.
Oh, okay.
They did go to the coordinator's house. They didn't go to Hallis Hall. That they didn't do, but they did go to the coordinator's house. He quits. Justin Fields says what he says, which I'm okay with what he said somewhat.
He wasn't really lying 100%, was he?
No, he was right. And then he came back and did what he did with the media. Then everything is just panned. That was the worst week I've ever seen in my life. But they stink. I mean, they are as bad as I mean, 2003, 2004, they had like Henry Burris and Craig Krenzel. This team's worse.
Oh, yeah.
They are so
that
bad.
offense was terrible back in them days.
But the defense was fine. You had Alex Brown, you had Urlacher, you had guys around.
Young Urlacher.
Yeah. And so this here is a complete system failure. I mean, first off, man, why would you have ever we said this before on your show. Yep. Why would you have ever allowed Pace to draft Fields? He should have never been allowed to draft a quarterback, Ryan Pace. He should have been fired.
Because he took Trubisky.
Yeah, and just everything that went on. The whole thing. Mike Glennon, the ridiculous contract he signed Glennon to, everything he did needed, he should have been let go or keep him. Or because you'd have been better off having Nagy as your head coach.
Yes.
Than Eberflus and Luke Getsy, who really, really floors me with him. Offensive quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I don't know how difficult that would be. I don't know. But then you bring Fields, then you bring him in for Fields. Why? What is that going to do?
That's interesting. Remember the guy who coached Peyton Manning? He was the former Jets coach. He was terrible as a head coach. I can't remember his name. He had a really wild look on his face.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about? No, I was going to say no. Well, the Bears had. I was thinking Adam Gase. I don't know why.
That's it. Adam Gase. Yeah, it was.
He was
these guys that coached these Hall of Fame, world class. I mean, look at Josh McDaniels. The Raiders lose again. Yeah. So that's kind of. But I do like the whole offensive minded head coach thing. Because they're killing the defensive-minded guys right now.
Because you got them all. I mean, Lawrence has Peterson or Patterson, whatever, and you have Hurts with Sirianni. You have Tua with
McDaniel. What about that? Huh? 70 points the other day.
And then you're sitting there with Justin Fields and Eberflus.
Yeah.
And the thing with Eberflus, the defense stinks. It's still as bad as it was last year.
Yeah,
and they didn't take.
They spent all that money on Edmonds, the linebacker from Buffalo.
Yeah, Edmonds. They got a little cheap T.J. Edwards. It sounded good. I can't say I didn't think it was a good move.
Edwards, I think is the name. Yeah.
Yeah, and then him too, Edwards, and then they passed on Jalen Carter. I don't, that's a tough one. That's tough.
And he's killing it with Philly, man.
Yeah, and that's something that I don't know how the McCaskies continue. They are the worst. They're the worst owners in the league right now, I think. And it's due to just silence. They're just not engaged and they're not involved. Yeah. And it just ends up like, I mean, someone's got to be held accountable here. This is an embarrassing season. I don't think they win a game. I think Denver beats them this week. And I don't
Wow.
see where they take
Oh,
away.
they played Denver after Denver got humiliated last week.
Denver's going to beat them because they just have more. Russell Wilson will do well. It's just the way it is. The Bears team is so bad that I didn't see this coming. I thought they'd be okay. I had said 6 wins, double last year, but I didn't
6
see
to 7, yeah, man.
I didn't see this where it's going to be 0. And now Justin Fields, really, you got to move on. You can't continue with him no more.
Do you like what Ron Poles done other than some of these other moves? The new general manager.
The draft pick, the kid's playing good from Tennessee. He took care of Jones.
Darrell Wright. Yeah, he's not bad.
He looks good, but you pass Jalen Carter.
That's true.
The guys now, I mean, you think about it, Edmonds and these are all. I mean, I know it's Monday morning quarterbacking stuff, but these may end up being failures. And then someone was saying about how they're coming from different systems, and you're plugging them in here, and it's just it's not going to work. You look at their corners; they're terrible. He's done nothing to help that. Jalen Johnson's hurt. Ty Stevenson looks good, but he's hurt as well. Eddie Jackson's old, and he was beat up before they even – remember, that's how they got him, because he was hurt from Alabama. So they were lucky to get him in the 4th. Brisker, here's another thing. Brisker's online giving, on Twitter, whatever he was doing, giving thumbs up, whatever he was saying to when Stephen A. Smith is saying the Bears are trash. I mean, you're in bad shape, man. I mean, they are just I don't even know. I don't think you can fix this. I think you're at the point, again, of drafting another quarterback, hoping Caleb Williams maybe will come, and he won't say no. And then I can't believe this, but you're going to have to blow it up again. Man. And I don't know what DJ Moore, did you see the one? I forgot who they were playing. And there was a mic on the field. And whoever the corner was says to Moore, "They're not using you right, are they?" And he says, "No." And I'm like, geez, yeah, it's right there.
They
right
caught it on the mic. See, you can't. That's why I bring you on, man. That's interesting stuff, man. That's really unfortunate,
It is, and I don't know what to say about Fields anymore. I mean, I defended. You watch him at Ohio State, whatever. I mean, in big games, he played big. He played huge against Clemson, those 600 touchdowns, whatever. And then here, this is so bad. I don't know if you had a chance to watch, because who's watching that games but me? I'll watch them play Denver this week.
You watch the blowouts?
I watch them all. I won't leave. I watch every minute, and it's so bad. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like Justin Fields, I don't know. I saw a trade offer today that someone made up. It was an NFL guy, and it was Justin Fields to the Jets for Zach Wilson, a 2nd and a 5th.
Wow.
I'm saying I do it if I'm the Bears at this point.
Well, why would the Jets do that?
That's the thing. Why would the Jets do that? Right. And I want them to play the other.
Kirk Cousins talks with the Jets, but
And if Fields were to unfortunately get dinged up or hurt, I'd love to see their backup quarterback get a shot, because that kid played at somewhere like Shepherd University or something crazy. in the preseason, he was big, he ran, he did everything you want to do. Why not? But Eberflus has got to be fired. I mean, you got to move on. You can't continue. They haven't won a game since October of last year.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot they really tanked, because remember, Houston had the first overall pick for the longest. You guys kept losing and losing and losing, and then of course, Lovie Smith pulls out the 2-point conversion in the last game just to stick. He knew he was going to get fired anyways, so Houston fell to number 2. So it's that offensive mind. And you know what? As much as I like what Poles had done, getting that extra pick, bringing in DJ Moore, he also did hire Eberflus, so that's a strike. Maybe you give him one more shot at another coach,
Luke Getsy too is I don't get it. How do you choose? Now you got your young quarterback who after last year there's a little bit of optimism. Maybe he's got a strong arm, he can run. You know what? At Ohio State, he only rushed for 1,100 yards in his career there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He's got the intangibles, and the tangibles. Excuse me.
So you're gonna have Luke Getsy, who only dealt with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know, it wasn't like I just would have figured you would have.
His Adam Gase, huh?
Yeah, well, that was
Nathaniel Hackett, who coached Rodgers, and it was terrible with the Bears or the Denver Broncos.
you need someone in there, I believe. I mean, I would assume that they got to be thinking that Luke Getsy is it was a mistake when I heard it. I figured there'd be a more, I don't know who. I didn't have anyone in mind who the OC would have been, but it definitely wasn't that. That was it was shocking to me. And then I didn't even like the hire of Eberflus at the time and then I thought maybe, okay, he's just a bridge. But think about everything that's gone on with that team from John Fox on has been a real disaster. It's been a big mess. Adam Gase was there with Cutler and then all the stuff. And Ryan Pace is here for all of this too. Him, who gets allowed to pick Fields, who now Ryan Poles, I don't blame him. He said the other day, I'm not married to him. So
that's true.
Of course not. He's not.
So now do you think maybe they should have took Bryce Young, but Bryce Young's already banged up again?
He's banged up again.
Or maybe Stroud, the Ohio State guy. No interceptions. What's he got, 900 yards?
He looks good too. I mean, next year they're going to have, I can't believe they're going to do this again. They'll probably have 2 of the top 5 picks, I assume.
Like street football. That's what Warren Sapp said on Jason Whitlock's show. He wants the willy-nilly out there.
Well, yeah. I mean, but you know what? He said this is what makes Fields look bad. I'm gonna do whatever. You know, I'm gonna run around. I'm gonna play free and play loose. Well, against Kansas City again,
that's willy-nilly.
Kansas City took mercy. Think about it. They took mercy on them. It could have been 70 easily.
Oh, yeah, I think they pulled out the Mahomes in like the 4th quarter, man.
Yeah, he came out to start.
I mean, he had to get Kelsey a touchdown because Taylor Swift was in that building.
and you saw in the 2nd quarter when he got hurt. I don't know if you saw that. Mahomes
hurt his shoulder.
And he was limping. He was all. I thought he was coming out then. So they had to feel like, okay, you know, let's end this. But I think if you're betting, if you're doing fantasy football, whatever you're doing, get all the Broncos you can in there because I don't see the Bears putting. I think they've quit as well. I think it's
3 games in. I mean, that's I've never heard this kind of turmoil in the first month.
Yeah, that week leading up to the Chiefs was the worst week we've ever seen in sports. I mean, that's insane. And then to top it off,
got to be the worst week in Bears history.
It has to be one of them.
I mean, $100,000 worth of lawn equipment stolen.
What the hell is that?
You can't make this up. I thought that was a joke.
I did too. And so I'm guessing I don't know. I know though that the Bears will go back another 5 years because they will have failed Justin Fields. I hope he goes somewhere and does well. I don't know if he can. I'm done. I can't even figure it out if he's good or not.
He may just be a permanent backup and maybe not that, but he is a great athlete.
He is. I'm just curious. I don't know. I don't know if anyone can know what he is after this.
Yeah.
There
was a knock on him at Ohio State. You remember that one report came out that he's not a big film guy and all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I remember him having to try to fight back against it and all that stuff. And the other thing is, he holds the ball so long. I don't know.
4 or 5 seconds. That line was holding up in the Tampa game.
And they were holding up a little for Kansas City, too. I mean, they were playing right one-on-one against Jones. And I watched the Bears post game, and they were showing me different plays, and he was doing fine. He was doing well. And I will say this. I watched their post game, which is their NBC Chicago, and you'll have on there is Lance Briggs, Alex Brown, and Dave Wannstedt. And I mean, those guys. Wannstedt doesn't want to do it. But Alex Brown has given up.
The offense will really be terrible. Wannstedt.
Yeah, remember when he was there?
3 runs up the middle. You'd be like Marty Schottenheimer 20 years ago, brother.
Yeah, I remember when he was there, Wannstedt. It was what it was. I mean, but I'm just saying those guys.
Run left, run light, punt.
Yeah.
Good guy, terrible golly. He was, a lot of those Dallas Cowboy coaches that were assistants under Jimmy Johnson, they were horrible. Norv Turner, golly, man, were they bad.
It made no sense either. Right. They were bad. Kind of like Belichick's guys.
They are. Yeah. I think he'll get McDaniels back sooner than later.
Very soon, yeah.
And I'll probably get another head coaching job somewhere. Switch it to the college game, brother.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I was so certain that Sam Hartman and Notre Dame would beat Ohio State. First time in 90 years. This guy's got 50 starts. This Freeman guy from Notre Dame really recovered after losing last year to Ohio State, and then he lost to Marshall. Really good class. And they had 10 men on the field the last 2 plays.
Yeah.
But you being an Ohio State guy, you got to be,
Well,
Ryan Day's all ticked off at Lou Holtz, but of course
That was
Lou
funny.
Holtz will say, hey, man, they're losing their physicality, lost to Michigan and yada, yada, yada. They lost to Georgia. And he was predicting almost a guaranteed win. And, it's got to be a bittersweet for you, man, because Ohio State did pull off a good one.
I'm happy for the quarterback, McCord. I think he played well. That's a big
He
win for
really
him.
did, considering that environment.
Yeah, huge win. I never realized that he was Marvin Harrison Jr.'s quarterback in high school until they said it. I had no idea.
Wow.
So those 2 guys were together.
There you go. You breaking news. I didn't know that, brother.
Yeah, I found that out. And I think on the game was where I heard it. But McCord, that's huge. What a huge win for him, because these games leading up to it, you're playing Youngstown State. They're played Indiana. I'm forgetting the other bum. They play, whatever. But and in those games, if you look
They
at my
didn't cover
Twitter,
the spread, none of those games.
no. And in those games, if you look at my Twitter, I want Jim Knowles fired. I was having a fit. I'm like, this guy, I've had enough of their defense. I can't take it no more. It's terrible. And then against Notre Dame, Jim Knowles, I'm going to give him credit. Big credit. He finally blitzed. He finally brought people. He didn't do completely bend, don't break. They were able to get off the field, and it's a good sign moving forward for them, because they have to beat Michigan this year, no matter what happens. And I think now they might actually have a chance. Because I was like you, I thought Notre Dame was going to win. I was surprised.
You did? Okay, I was going to ask you, man, did you really think Notre Dame was going to win this game?
Yeah, I thought Notre Dame would win, and I saw them at +3, and I was surprised. And I'm thinking,
I took it at 3.5 and won it.
I thought Notre Dame was going to win. I really thought this, and then it's over there. I didn't know what to think of McCord. I didn't know how he would handle the situation, and their running game is really, really good. OSU's. And so is that. They did a great job on Notre Dame's. That was huge that they stopped the run. And look at the talent they have, though. There's no reason for them not to. I think they have more talent than Michigan. I think they got.
Yeah.
Their
line is really good. And I know Michigan's line is supposed to be exceptional, but you're right. They really got fit. Ryan Day, kudos to him. He pounded that in those kids' head that we're going to run that rock, man. We're going to shut this crowd. I don't think there was an empty seat in the house up in South Bend, man. And I was really surprised that they hung in like that and got that win. In their defense, they played that Georgia team better than anybody.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. And I thought last year's team wasn't that good, and they could have won the national champion. Really, they're a kick field goal away from winning a title. So I don't know. I'm very critical of their defense, and that's my problem with that team. And it was last year. It was just too easy to run on. It was too easy it didn't make sense. You got that guy Chambers and Eichenberg, and you got and Mike Hall in the middle, and the kid on the side, number 44, Tua Sopo, whatever his name is, and there's too much to be getting run on and not being able to get off the field against Youngstown State. That was I was concerned. I really thought for sure. If any team next to Michigan, I don't like, it's Notre Dame. They're probably number 2. And I was thinking to myself, and up here in where I live, everyone loves them. I don't know if it's because it's a big Catholic area where I am. Everyone loves Notre Dame. So I was just waiting, and I figured this was the time.
Yeah. Did Marvin Harrison get hurt the other day?
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. But that's one thing I was going to say about him. And every time they have like a wide receiver that's going to go in the top 5, something always happens. Always an issue with them. And I hope
he hasn't had the season that I thought but it's early. Maybe they're triple teaming him. Who knows?
Yeah, he definitely got hurt, and he got and then of course he got hurt in that game against Georgia last year.
Sure did.
In the end zone. That probably could have been a penalty. But Agbuka is unbelievable. Again, you got him. You got their
wide. People say, is it LSU or Ohio State? I'll say they're wide receiver north, and LSU is wide receiver south.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah, no,
Olave. I mean, they're balling out there, man.
and they're
Michael
tight end.
Thomas is back with the Saints.
Yeah, right. And Cade Stover is a pretty good tight end. They got, I mean, I'll tell you, man, it's going to be interesting because if they lose to Michigan again, I'm curious as to what happens because that'll be 3 times in a row now, I think.
Yeah, this Al Borges, this guy I brought on the program, he used to coach at Michigan, offensive coordinator, and he was for Auburn as he wrote this book, but he breaks down every game of Michigan. And ask him about those 3 touchdowns. He said, well, Ohio State's doing cover 0 blitzes. And those guys, wow.
Yeah.
He said they played okay other than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes you go too crazy with the blitz, you know?
That's Jim Knowles. Yeah, Knowles has been a weird, but this probably had to be his most masterful called game, I assume.
Oh, it's got one of the best one of his career, man.
Because
I was for sure Hartman was going to cut these guys up. His stock, Hartman's stock went down for me. He pooped in the big moment, man. He's down to the 4th round pick instead of 2nd round pick.
He was Wake Forest, right?
Yeah, it's a transfer.
Played night.
They beat Florida State last year.
Yeah.
He has all these numbers. I'm surprised that Nick Saban didn't work out something to bring him with that offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, but it never did happen. And
they have Duke this week, so that'll be interesting.
I think I may take Duke. They may be flat because you know how it is. You get up really big for a game, and then you got who does Ohio State? Is it some no name?
They got a bye this week.
Oh, that works out perfectly.
Yeah.
What do you think about Penn State, man? They play Penn State. Penn State's quarterback is killing. This is we was talking about that in the text. Man, they blew out Iowa 31-0. I thought maybe that game will be close against Illinois. Remember, Illinois pushed Michigan to a field goal last year.
Right. Yeah. And
they beat them by 17. I mean, James Franklin, man.
Yeah. They got the quarterback's like 6'5", 240. He's
supposed to be a 5-star kid. Alar, what his name is?
Yeah, Alar. Yeah, something like that. And he's good. I mean, and their defense is really good, right? I mean, that's probably the best defense, definitely in the Big Ten, I believe.
Wow.
That's going to be tough. When Ohio State plays them, that's going to be that's going to be tough. They could look it. I'm very excited after Notre Dame, but it wouldn't shock me if Penn State beat them. Because
this is at home on October 21st, brother. I bet you're hyped about that.
Yeah, coming up. Yep. That's you got to get by that one to get to Michigan. I mean, you got to. That's the one. But then Michigan at the end. I think could jobs be on the line? I don't know for if they lose to Michigan again. I mean, Ryan Day is showing a lot of emotion. Weirdly,
Pickles thinks they'll smoke. I don't know, Pickles, man. Ohio State's pretty good. I think they'll beat them.
I think they would beat them too, but I think
Ohio
State
form plays, and I don't know, man. Michigan.
I think Ohio State's better this year than last year. Yeah. I think McCord's only going to get better. I was really shocked at how good he played. I thought he was beyond just a manager. I mean, he played well, and
some guys rise up to the occasion, others do not.
And he
CJ
did.
Stroud, I'm still surprised by him. Man, he smoked Jacksonville last weekend.
He did.
With no players.
I know. I'm surprised. It's just I don't know. He might be right. I mean, Michigan probably they're probably will be favored. I would think in that game.
It's up in Ann Arbor too. So
yeah, so it's good, and that's fine. Probably good for Ohio State that it's there. But I always think, in the back of my mind, and I don't know if he'll ever leave Tennessee, but I always think of Mike Vrabel coming back.
Oh,
and
okay.
Coach and being the head coach at Ohio State.
Well, maybe Tennessee fires him.
That's what
he would be great for college. I like Vrabel though. I think the Titans can win with Vrabel. They just got to pump this line up. Sonorsky, the 11th pick overall. He had his appendix. I heard this today, Pickles. His appendix ruptured.
Oh, geez.
And then he was at the local that's why he's been out the last couple of weeks. I thought he had a air quote problem with his appendix. It ruptured.
Oof.
And he's the best. He's the best offensive lineman, of course, according to PFL. I said Cleveland would beat them. They did. Cincinnati will beat Tennessee, even with the limping Joe Burrow. If Sonorsky does not come back, he might come back Sunday. If he does come back Sunday, I think they'll beat Burrow. And Vrabel's at 2-2. they're going through a very rough. These first 6 games for the Titans are murder's row, man.
Yeah.
You know, all
Yeah,
playoff worthy teams. They got to play Baltimore later.
Well, we got this week. Buffalo and Miami should be interesting.
That's the game. The game of the week, man. What are your thoughts about Buffalo returning? Buffalo rebounding from that Jets loss, man.
I'm impressed. I think they look good. I think why is the head coach? I don't know why he's
McDermott or
McDermott calling defense looks pretty good. Like it's working out well. Yeah. Josh Allen seemed to have calmed down some. I also think I can't wait for this game because I don't know what to think of Miami, honestly. I really don't. Like there's something about them. I'm not sure if their defense is good, really. I'm not really positive. I do think, though, that the Bills
are in the system, brother, with Tua. Golly.
I think got to keep him. I want to see it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's a close game. I don't see Buffalo killing them like people are thinking up here.
Oh, God, are they really?
Yeah.
Miami's hanging in there with backup quarterbacks last year.
I know. I've said that.
The Buffalo fans, they're delusional up there, man.
Well, they are pretty fired up, man. I think. No, I will say this. I think last year was a wacky year.
Yeah.
They're not bad. I almost feel like they're quietly better than they were last. Like there's not much talk about them, really.
No, you are right, dude. And you know something, Tre'Davious White got a interception last year. Him and Micah Hyde, that goes with the Hamlin thing. That's why Hamlin was in there. But they seem to be 100%. He had a tore his ACL Thanksgiving night 2 years ago. Tre'Davious White, he looks like he's back to form. People forget, myself included, that Buffalo's defense is really good.
I know.
Really good. And you're right. McDermott, he's doing better, man.
Well, because some reason Ed Oliver looks good. And
Oliver,
Leonard Floyd is playing well. We still haven't seen Von Miller take the field yet.
He's not even there.
Yeah, I don't know when what's he still on the, so I don't know what year.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to miss the first 4 games, so he won't be here Sunday.
Honestly, they could probably let him miss the first 8 and just let him get ready for the playoff.
Being 33 years old.
Yeah.
So but you think Buffalo's going to win? Man, you got me thinking maybe Buffalo, but Vic Fangio's on the other side, though, calling that Miami defense. It's not great, but it is a little better. It's a little better.
I like Miami. This is going to be a good game. I unfortunately be watching the Bears and Broncos, but it's going to be good. It's going to be an incredible game. I'll try to watch it on a second device, but I mean, it's a big build up here. I mean, it's huge. And they've been rivals forever. I think there's such a rivalry built with now who's the offense is better, between Miami and Buffalo, especially up here in Western New York where I am. It's Josh Allen can't do any wrong here. And you know what? He's very good. I mean, he is very good. I still think mistakes sometimes follow him on his own doing.
Yeah.
But McDermott, I give him credit because I think his job's in jeopardy now, this year. And
we talked about that in the offseason, man. So you're still with it like me, brother.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. It'll be fun. They have a hard time with Tyreek Hill. I don't know if Waddle's okay. I'm not sure if he's back.
He's supposed to be back from concussion protocol.
And
he didn't even play last week, man.
They scored 7.
And Akin Devon, this running back, ran a 4.32. Not Mostert, the other guy.
The other guy.
He ran that in the combine, and he could be set them over the top now. Hey, man, maybe y'all get some licks on Tua, and maybe he's kind of gun shy back there.
I think that that guy ran for almost over 200 yards.
He didn't get his jersey dirty. He didn't get it wet or dirty or nothing, man.
I think I told someone here who's a Bills fan, I could see Buffalo may win, but I think it's going to be super close. I feel like it's going to come down. It always does. I don't know why anyone would think any different.
Like 31-28 or something.
Yeah, 31-28. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I don't see a blowout. I'd be stunned.
Yeah.
Either way.
And the last I checked the weather there, it's supposed to be like 77 and sunny. up
It's
there.
beautiful here. Yes, it's going to be 80
Sunday
next week.
during the game.
Yeah, it's warm for October 1st.
Nice.
But let me say
Nice.
this, please, to everyone out there. Get your Broncos in your lineup. Get them ready to go if you have Cortland Sutton, if you have Jerry Ju- and even Javonte Williams. He's probably going to be the biggest one.
the old adage is that when a team gets blown out, they come back, but they both got blown out.
Yeah. I think one, though, is quit. And I think the other one with who their head coach is
Peyton, yeah.
and quarterback won't. They are embarrassed. I think when they're embarrassed, they have a track record. When these other guys are embarrassed, they're just saying, I want out of here. That's what it feels like. So,
As long as the check clears every Tuesday morning.
right. Yeah, and I don't know with the FBI coming.
Yeah. So that is a true story. I kept reading other things about the FBI thing. So that is a true story?
The FBI did go, from what I read and heard, to Williams's house. We still don't know why. Like, no one has said why were they there? Why did he quit so quickly? What happened? We don't even know. I when the FBI comes and they're taking stuff out, the bad things come to mind. So I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Someone said the only rumor I heard, completely rumor, don't know anything or any at all, was about maybe some issues with prescription drugs or something. I don't know.
Oh my God, but you can't make this stuff up. Pickle says Peanut Tillman being outed as FBI agent. Yeah, he's a former cornerback there.
Yeah,
took the ball out of Randy Moss's hand one time.
Yes, that started him. That started his thing. I mean, now he is a Chicago. Unbelievable that he's an FBI agent. So
yeah,
smart guy.
Yeah. You got any? I know. Do you still do Spitballing Sports on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern?
I do. Yes,
we
do.
Okay. What other shows you got, brother? Plug.
Oh my goodness, we're going crazy here with tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a college football show with Jim Behringer called Full Press College Football. That'll be out. I got if you guys, anyone out there that likes hockey, I do Puckett on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. And then I also do a Full Press Hockey podcast, NHL. On our show, real quick on Spitballing, we go over every game. We give our picks. We do all that stuff. That's what we do. And I'll have Scott there, Mr. Buffalo Bill. That'll be fun.
So we'll see. You know something? I haven't made I'm gonna look at the total injury report and see about Miami Buffalo. It's part of me, I was leaning Miami earlier this week, maybe Buffalo now, but that's going to be a really good man. Some of the NFL people, the TV networks would love to flex that game, wouldn't they?
Oh, I wish they would.
And I'm so glad. Would you really? I like the early ones.
Only because I'm drawn to watch the Bears and Broncos. For some reason, it's like a magnetic pull. No matter how bad they, no matter how bad.
Do you have the YouTube TV thing, or what do you got, like Direct TV or something?
I got, I got a Fire Stick, but I get the NFL package, so I'm going to do something. There's no way I'm not going to, even if I put it on my phone. I got to check out the Dolphins Bills.
Yeah, but I'm a red zone guy.
Oh yeah, I love the red zone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whoever's doing red zone, because I'm fantasy, gambling, whatever.
The weather's perfect, so Miami's got to be very. I mean, they did it. I guess this year they did it that way for them. Early in Buffalo, late in Miami.
Yeah.
No one can
complain. It was early in Miami, last year and the year before that, remember?
Yes, and they were crying about the sun. Yeah. It was amazing.
He put a lick on Tua, remember? Then they brought him back, and then some speculation was he was really jacked up from that hit more than he was from the Cincinnati hit that put him out in those earlier games.
And that jiu-jitsu is supposedly helping him fall.
Yes.
So that's
yes. If the playoffs started today, which they don't, I would think Miami could get to the Super Bowl. But it's a marathon of it's like Bill Belichick said. This is still the first quarter, the first 4 games.
Yeah.
Second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So, of course, I don't know if he's looking forward to that with Mac Jones being his quarterback. It's a different story.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but I appreciate you always having me on. This is a great show. I watch it all the time. There's so much information that we get from this one that I use on my show on Friday. I steal stuff, So just so you know.
Hey, you can feel free because you've always shared my show, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, Corey, thank you. That Damian Lillard thing, man. That got me playing. If I can play this, see if you can memorize this. See what this beats from. You got a pretty good ear here. This might not come up because it's actually had some Lou Holtz talking trash about Ryan Day, and then Ryan Day's like, I don't appreciate him saying that. He got the last laugh though. Well, I'm getting this ready. What's your thoughts on Dion? Too much hype?
Yes, I can't even imagine. You know, and I'm glad. I like it. I mean, I like him and I like what he does. It's fine. Yeah. But I understand why Oregon does what they do. I mean, he's got to accept it. He knows it's coming. They're going to beat the hell out of USC.
Whatever you put up, he's going to get it back, you know.
I mean, USC probably they have a hard time on defense, so it'll be interesting. I think Dion's son, we have learned, is it's tough when you blitz them. I noticed, it was a lot easier when people are just, falling back. But I mean, he's good. It's good for college football for sure. I just I just thought it was out of hand, and of course it's ESPN. It's them that
they like to hype it up.
Holy God! But he got what he deserved, and I bet you this week they're going to get. I can't see how that doesn't get ugly.
Well, I think they'll score some on USC's defense at home. But
I like
see if you familiar with this. It's getting there. So
that's
Ernie Johnson here.
Yeah, that's the NBA music. Yeah.
NBA on TNT. No, that was about that Damian Lillard, man. That just hyped me up for the basketball season, man.
I was stunned today. I'm excited. The only thing I said to my son, who's a big NBA fan, I don't know what the Knicks are waiting for. Like, when does anything?
They got all those picks. What are they going to use them on something?
My God, it's so bad. It's decades worth of nothing.
They're saving them for a rainy day, John.
Terrible ownership there. Jim Dolan is horrible. So
have a good night, brother. I'll see you when I see you. I'm sure I'll ask you to come back on, especially before one of these big games. I might bring on next week, especially if something crazy happens at Buffalo game.
Oh, let me on. Yes, I would love to come on, and I'm going to be asking you soon too, of course.
Thanks, John.
All right, thank you.
See you, buddy. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Listen, I'm gonna do some gambling picks tomorrow, over and under picks tomorrow. We're gonna switch it up a little bit with the fantasy team, so keep that in mind. Got any fantasy questions? Hit me up. Gonna be a great show. A little bit different tomorrow here on Sports Scope. Thanks again, everybody.